Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about another faucet. This is a Perlick flow control faucet, and this is a faucet that I use a lot of. We're going to start by disassembling it. So you remove the handle jack, or jacket, sorry, from the top. Set it aside. You remove the, I forget exactly what they call this, but it's, basically a lever bonnet with a friction gasket inside. And then you pull out the lever. This can be a little difficult. This portion comes off as well, and this is the bearing cup. It also sits down in these little recesses, so it keeps the lever moving only in the direction that it's supposed to move. This one is a little difficult. You just pull it apart. Now this one has a creamer function, so if you push back on it, it allows a little beer to come through and causes it to foam up to put a head on top of the beer. I actually don't recommend these, and that's why this one is in my junk pile for videos and stuff like that. You can get these that are just a solid ball just to close and open, and I recommend those more than I do these. That's a personal thing, try it. So once you have that apart, you can go ahead and start removing the flow control. So you loosen and you pull out and you wiggle it back and forth to get it to pop out. And once you get it to where you can get it loose, it should pop out. Now the handle will actually unscrew as well, so you can remove this. Once you have this out, you can see that there's two little O-rings in here that help create the seal. And then the back, this will just pop right out. And this is actually the flow control portion of it. And everything is round, so it likes to roll. On the inside, you have a gasket all the way down there at the end, and that's where the ball actually hits and creates the seal. You've got a gasket on the exterior here, and I think you've got one right inside there. This one normally has a gasket around the exterior here, the coupling gasket. This one doesn't, because this one probably won't ever be put back onto a draft tower. But again, this one is the one that takes the most amount of abuse, so you end up having to replace this one fairly often. Once you get it all apart, there's a lot of little bits and pieces here, so take it, put it in a container and soak it in 2 to 3% caustic. Make sure that it gets nice and clean. Make sure to wear gloves and glasses, proper PPE. You don't want to get chemical in your eye. Then you take it and you take your faucet brush and you run it through the inside a couple times. You run it through the back side a couple times. Or run it through the top side a couple times. And you run it through the side a couple times. And you get it nice and clean on there. Then you can use a toothbrush and go through and hit all the threaded portions of the exterior of the body. And you can even use the toothbrush on the interior here because it's wider here, and the brush doesn't always hit all of the portions. Also, on the inside, you can see a little bit of knurling. This is good for getting in there, get it nice and clean. And then you rinse this good and thoroughly, and then you can go through and do the rest of it. So you can use your faucet brush for in there, and your exterior you can hit with your toothbrush. And these holes here, like if you got anything in there, you can actually just push your brush through it, and that helps just kind of get in there and give it a little bit of twirl. Get everything nice and clean. This one kind of is a pain in the butt to get perfectly clean, to be honest with you, because it's got a little spring in there, so you gotta kind of press it and clean it. Like I said, I recommend the one with the full ball and not the creamer. After you go through and you brush all of your components, now it's time to rinse everything thoroughly and put it all back together. And this can be a little bit of a pain in the butt to put back together. So you take this portion, which is your flow control, and it's got this single big hole at the bottom there. And what you want to do is you want to line it up with that front section. And then you can take this piece and get it in there, and kind of, if you look at the back, you can see as it moves, it'll move that back portion, and you know you got it in. So then you can take your side, screw that on. You don't want to go too tight. Remember, you just want enough of a seal that it's not going to leak, and you can put your handle back on. From there, you check it by moving it up and watching it rotate in the back. It'll open and close. You see how it moves? Let's see if we can get a... See that? Okay, so with it fully down, that is fully closed. So now we're going to take our lever, and for this one, the round section, that front section, the little guy, I believe, goes in the back. So it open. Yeah, this little guy goes in the back. So press that down into it. We'll put our ball cup on there. And when you get it in right, it'll actually seat down, and you can see where it sits down into its little ears there. You put the top on. Again, you don't need it too tight, you just need it tight enough that it's not going to leak. And then you put your little lever collar back on. And that is how you disassemble and clean a Perlick flow control faucet. There you go. Have a good day. Cheers.